My name is Lorraine Brooks, and I'm 67 years old. Born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama, moved to Detroit when I married, and then spent most of my life in a little two-bedroom home on Ashford Street, the home where I raised my only child, Marcus. If you were to ask me, Miss Lorraine, what's the greatest blessing you ever received? I'd say my son, without even thinking. Because truly, he was my answer to every prayer. But life has a way of showing you that not all blessings stay blessings forever. Sometimes they grow up, grow distant, and grow into people you don't recognize anymore. Marcus was a sweet boy when he was little, soft-spoken, kind, the kind of child who'd run and bring you flowers from the front yard, even if they were weeds. He used to say, "Mama, one day I'ma buy you a house big as a city." And I used to smile and say, "Baby, all I need is you." But life happened. His daddy left. Bills piled up. And somehow, Marcus started seeing me less like his mama, and more like a burden life forced him to carry. I didn't notice it at first. It starts soft, like rain tapping a window. You don't know it's a storm till you look outside and realize the whole road is flooded. It was 2 years ago when I knew something was changing. Marcus got married. Now listen, I really did, to love his wife, Vanessa. But Vanessa, she was not the type of woman who liked sharing space. Not with friends, not with family, and certainly not with a mother-in-law. She was polite enough in the beginning, smiled, hugged me sometimes, but there was something in her eyes. Something tight, something mean. Like she was tolerating me rather than welcoming me. But Marcus seemed happy, and that was all I cared about. Then my health started slipping. Nothing dramatic, just age. My knees hurt more. My back acted up. My blood pressure took little trips up the mountain whenever it felt like it. A year later, my doctor told me I shouldn't be living alone. Too risky. Too dangerous. So Marcus said, "Mama, come stay with us, just for a while." I cried that day not because I was sad, but because I felt loved. If only I knew what was coming. The first month was peaceful. I cooked sometimes, cleaned a bit, stayed out of their way. I didn't want to be that mother-in-law who meddled. I watched my TV shows, drank my tea, sat on the porch during the evenings. But Vanessa, Lord have mercy. Her smile faded faster than a cheap winter coat. Suddenly, everything I did was wrong. If I folded towels, she refolded them. If I cooked dinner, she said the seasoning wasn't modern. If I washed dishes, she inspected them like I worked at a restaurant. And if Marcus came home and hugged me first, her whole face tightened like a fist. One evening I heard them arguing in their bedroom. Her voice was sharp enough to cut steel. "Marcus, I can't live like this. I didn't marry you to play house with your mother." Marcus whispered something I couldn't hear, but Vanessa snapped. "We need space. I need my husband back. I want my home back." My heart sank. I went to my room quietly, sat on the edge of the bed and prayed. "Lord, don't let me be a burden. Don't let my child choose between me and his wife. Give me strength to step away if I need to." I wiped my tears, but my heart had already cracked. Just a little. A week later it happened. It was a Saturday morning, warm sunlight, birds chirping like the world wasn't about to collapse. Marcus walked into my room. His face was pale. His eyes were red. He looked tired, old, as if the last 7 days aged him 10 years. "Mama, can we talk?" he said quietly. My stomach twisted. He sat beside me, staring at his hands. And when he finally looked up, I saw guilt all over his face. "Mama," he whispered, "you can't stay with us anymore." Everything inside me went silent, like the world stopped breathing. It wasn't what he said. It was how he said it. Soft, slow, like he was dropping a bomb but trying not to make a sound. I opened my mouth to speak, but no words came out. "Not a single one." He continued, "Vanessa, she doesn't feel comfortable, and we're fighting a lot because of it. I don't want my marriage to fall apart. I can't have you here anymore." I felt something warm roll down my face. A tear. Then another. Not because of Vanessa, but because my own son, my baby, was choosing peace with someone else over love with me. I whispered, "Marcus, where will I go?" He swallowed hard. And that's when he said it. "I found a place, a good place, an assisted living home. They'll take care of you." My heart cracked again, this time louder. "You're taking me to a home?" I asked, barely breathing. He nodded, didn't even look me in the eyes. He couldn't. The drive was silent. Not quiet silent. Marcus didn't play music, didn't talk, didn't even look at me. He just stared ahead, hands tight on the wheel, like if he loosened them even a little, he'd fall apart. I looked out the window, watched houses roll by, kids playing, old men sitting on porches. Families, people who hadn't been given away. The closer we got, the colder the air felt. The building looked clean enough, grey bricks, white windows, a sign that said Sunny Acres Assisted Living. Sunny, what a lie. The sky was cloudy. Everything felt grey. Even my bones. Marcus helped me out of the car but kept glancing around, like he was embarrassed. Like he didn't want anyone to see him dropping off his own mother. Inside, a woman with red hair and a too-wide smile welcomed us. "Hi, Miss Brooks, we're so excited to have you." Excited. Lord. I forced a small smile. My hands shook so bad I had to hold onto the counter. Marcus filled out paperwork while I sat on a chair, staring at the floor. At one point, he walked over and touched my shoulder. "Mama, I'm sorry." I nodded. But deep inside, something broke that could never be fixed. My room was small, clean but cold. A bed, a dresser, a window with a view of the parking lot. Not the garden, not the sky. Just cars. A lady in her 80s peeked inside and waved. "Welcome, baby," she said warmly. Her voice had a softness that reminded me of my grandmother. I tried to smile, but my heart was too heavy. Marcus stood in the doorway, not stepping inside, not sitting down, just standing like he was ready to leave. And then he did. He hugged me. Quick, awkward, not the kind of hug a son gives his mother. Then he whispered, "You'll be okay, Mama." I wanted to say, "No, baby, you're the one who won't be okay, because one day you'll realize what you did and that pain won't leave you." But I stayed silent. He walked out, didn't look back. Not once. The door closed behind him, and I sat on my bed, hands shaking, heart breaking in slow motion. That night I cried quietly, the kind of cry that doesn't make a sound, just empties your soul. But I also prayed, Lord, give me strength, and please don't let bitterness grow in my heart. Help me forgive him, even if he never asks. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly, something changed. I started sitting with the other ladies in the common room, started knitting again, started telling stories from my childhood, started laughing again, little laughs at first, then real ones. They made me feel human again. One afternoon, a woman named Evelyn asked, "So why'd your son bring you here?" I opened my mouth, shame resting on my tongue, but she lifted a hand. "Baby," she said, "every woman in this building was brought here because somebody didn't want to deal with them anymore. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us." I smiled. For the first time in months, I felt seen. And yet, every night before bed, I still look at the door, still expect Marcus to walk in, still expect him to say, "Mama, come homes." He never does, but I still pray for him, because a mother's heart doesn't break once, it breaks many times, and still, somehow, it loves. If you're still listening, let me tell you something. Sometimes the people you love the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. But don't you ever let someone else's choices decide your worth. You are not disposable. You are not a burden. And you are not somebody problem. You are a whole story, a whole life. And you matter. If this story touched you, stay with us. There are more voices, more hearts, more stories waiting for you. Hit follow, and come back for the next one. Auntie's got plenty more to tell.